Hello. Welcome back to Grace
and Knowledge.
It is so good to see everyone again.
Or just, well, not see. We're not technically in person, but
to
just
hear everyone.
To be with Corinne again in person.
Yes.
That's crazy.
It is. We've been on our winter break, but, you know, we had to take a little trip to see each other and obviously to record an episode for you guys.
And we got some, Corinne got some new podcast mics. So we're trying these out and
I'm feeling much more official.
Yes.
Megan.
They're fun and they're pink, so
yes. What can I say? On
oh my goodness.
That was crazy. You guys heard that, right?
We haven't even seen each other in like 2 weeks and we are saying the same thing.
We're still in sync. We've been saving it up over the last few weeks. So I feel like now it's just coming out.
Oh, how was your Christmas break so far anyways, Corinne?
Oh, it's been so good. I feel like for me it's been really just restful. I haven't been doing too much. I've been doing lots of reading. I'm currently reading 3 books at the same time right now.
Wow.
So that's a little crazy.
Could not be me.
But no, it's been good. I've got to spend lots of time with family and just visiting people, which has been really fun. But it's been really great. But I am missing everyone and definitely ready to be back at school and see all our friends again.
Yes.
What about you?
It's been good. I definitely had much higher goals for the break than I was able to accomplish, but you know, that's okay. I feel like I always go into my breaks, I'm like, I'm gonna get all these things done, and I also want to try this and this, and I don't think I've really done much of anything, but I have done some reading, so that's good. But yeah, I've been pretty busy with my family doing lots of stuff. We went to Kentucky to visit people, but yeah, it's been fun.
Very fun. That's actually so real. I feel like I always set really lofty goals for what I want to do over break, and then I never do any of them.
Yeah. So real. Well, today is the last day of 2024.
That's so crazy.
That is wild.
I think the year went by really fast, at least for me.
Yeah. It definitely did go by fast. And I also feel like I always separate like the year into two,
because of the school year?
The school year. Like, that's weird. I feel like spring semester, which was this year, or last, school year, which was still 2024, it does not feel like that was 2024.
I feel like I was a whole different person last school year.
Yes.
Even though
it doesn't count. It feels like it's, and I'm just like, it's tripping my brain up, and now we're about to be in 2025.
Yeah. I still am messing up the
halfway
date this year.
To 2050.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Whoa. Wait, I don't know how I feel about that.
I'm gonna be 45. That's crazy.
That's weird. I just need a second.
45-year-olds like us will listen to this and be like, what?
Wouldn't that be so cool? We're gonna be like, oh, we're so silly.
Yeah.
Thinking it's such a big deal.
Hello, future self.
Yeah, hi, future Corinne and Megan. Maybe we're still podcasting.
That's so funny.
Okay, we'll see. We'll have to look back.
Mm-hmm.
This is like a
or
time
maybe
capsule
our
now.
Kids will be listening to us.
That would be so crazy.
That'd be weird.
Yeah.
They would probably make fun of me.
I've been not embarrassed.
That's what I was.
I already make fun of it.
Yeah. Wow, that's just a crazy thought. Anyways.
Yeah.
Are you ready for my question of the day?
I'm ready.
It pertains to the break.
Ooh, okay.
What is the craziest? I don't know if craziest, but what's a craziest thing that your family has done, or best tradition, anything that's not normal, but also I don't know,
not basic.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay, that's a fun question.
Mm-hmm.
Well, something that my family does for actual Christmas Day is my mom always fries little donut holes.
Ooh.
Which is fun, and we'll make them in cinnamon sugar. So that's kind of fun because we only do it on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
And we do breakfast foods. And so we just eat so many of those.
That sounds really yummy.
It's delicious. But yeah, so we started that a few years ago. I think my mom just wanted to try it randomly one year. she was like, this sounds fun. Like, she wanted to see if she could take, like, biscuit dough and fry it and if it would, like, taste like donuts.
Ooh.
And so that's what she did. And we were all like, this is so good.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've done that for, like, the last few years. And so it kind of, like, accidentally became a tradition. But it's so good. But I feel like for Christmas itself, we don't do a ton of crazy things. Like, we do Advent. My mom does little, like, activities for us. So sometimes, this is my favorite one. We didn't do it this year because we were all busy with, like, sports and stuff. But we sometimes do a marshmallow snowball fight in the house.
Whoa.
And so it's like a snowball fight, but you just take, like, marshmallows and chuck them at each other. It's so fun. And so, like, we'll put tape on, like, the middle of the floor and we'll see, like, who can get the most on their side. It's really fun. Like, we kind of go crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I feel like that's
You're
fun.
like, oh, we don't do anything too.
Except throw marshmallows in the house.
You're like, oh, we just throw some marshmallows.
And then it's funny because we'll find them, like, months later. Or, like, sometimes, like, I think we found, like, a year later. And we're like, oh, look, it's a marshmallow.
Like, it's a marshmallow. I wonder what that's from.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That's fun. So I was bummed we didn't do that this year, but that's probably one of our, like, really fun things we do. But I don't know if it counts if we didn't do it this year. But there you go.
There you go.
Marshmallow snowball fight.
That's fun. Now I'm trying to think of mine, but see, I always ask the questions and it's so hard. I don't have an answer. Yeah, I need to do better about that. Okay. Think. Traditions. My family on my mom's side, we always get together, like, for an evening and a morning usually. And so, like, this year we did it, Christmas was on a Wednesday. Yeah. So we went to my grandparents on Sunday and, like, we went and played games. And then some of us spent the night there. And then in the morning we did presents. So on Sunday night, though, or, like, the evening, we always, like, sing Christmas carols and we're very much of my grandparents really like singing. And so even sometimes for the prayer, my grandpa will have us sing a song. And so this year we sang Joy to the World. I just remember that.
That's so fun.
We also have a song that we just sing sometimes year round. It's Johnny Appleseed, but that's a different...
That's a whole other story.
That's a whole other story. But we sing Christmas carols. We all go to, like, the living room with the piano. Mm-hmm. And my uncle plays, and then we all sing, and my grandma has us sing the 12 Dogs of Christmas. And it's, like, based on the movie. Do you know the movie?
No, there's a movie, 12 Dogs of Christmas?
Yes.
Oh, I need to watch
this. You should watch it, yes.
Okay, deal.
It's pretty great. It's a Christmas movie with dogs in it,
so
if you wonder. The 12 Dogs of Christmas. So, we sing the song, and it's, like, just the 12 days of Christmas, but with dogs. So instead of a partridge in a pear tree, it's a poodle in a doghouse.
That's so cute.
And then each person gets to be a different one. So, that's like, fun. Emma and I were 3 Cocker Spaniels. So then we just sang that part. We're like, 3 Cocker Spaniels, and it's 2 St. Bernards, and a poodle in a doghouse.
I want to learn this song now.
It's crazy.
You'll have to teach me later. That's so fun.
So we do that. We also, I'm trying to think of other things. We just all hang out, I guess. There's nothing, like, in particular that's coming to mind.
I feel like singing that song in itself is a pretty crazy tradition.
Yeah.
I feel like that already got me there.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. That was my question of the day that I just thought of.
That's good. Yeah, I'd be curious to know what other things people do for Christmas. Or, like, things that people think are normal, but then are like, oh, no, I guess other people don't do that.
Like, I didn't know until I was talking to you that, like, most people... Well, I guess some people celebrate Memorial Day, but, like...
My family doesn't.
I didn't know that people... Like, my family takes Memorial Day seriously, and, like, we just celebrate it every year. I don't know, like, why or how that started.
That was one of my favorite, like, lore moments like that I found out about Megan's family.
We have a little family parade, and we always walk around with American flags, and we have to sing with kazoos, and it's a whole thing.
I want to do this now.
I didn't know that people didn't celebrate Memorial Day like that. Like, we always line up after a parade. We say the Pledge of Allegiance, and then someone usually reads the Gettysburg Address, and then
70 years ago.
And sometimes we listen to, what's the one, like, I think it's Taps. Is that what it is? Yeah. It's like the bugle.
Oh,
we listened to that. And so
that's one of those things that, like, my family literally has never done anything for Memorial Day.
But the thing is, we're so chill about it too. Like, we all get together, we're eating hot dogs, and you're like, oh, time for the parade, and we just all go out, do it, we do the thing, and then we just go back inside and act like nothing happened.
If you ever have someone over for that, or like if you have a boyfriend and you like bring him for that, he's like, what the actual heck is
He's
going
gonna think
on?
we're pranking him, but we're not.
But that's serious.
We're serious, and we
have you
actually
ever seen
do that.
those videos where people like
Prank? Oh, those are so good.
And they like say like the Pledge of Allegiance or like do something like silly and like they're like, what the heck? Yeah, that would get him. I want to come sometime when you do your little parade. That sounds iconic.
Come on. Oh wait, you know what I realized though?
What?
I'm gonna miss Memorial Day this year
because you're gonna be
in Alaska.
I'll be in Spain.
So,
yeah. Dang it! Next year.
Next year.
Okay.
Yes.
That's so fun. But yeah, no, I'm curious like what other traditions people have that they like are like, oh, that's not normal. You don't throw marshmallows in your house and do a snowball fight?
Yeah.
Like what?
No.
No, that's fun though.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, well I guess like getting more into today's episode, we kind of wanted to talk just about this whole year that we've had because it is New Year's Eve, and so we wanted just to take time to kind of review how the past year has gone and just what big life events have happened. I feel like that's a lot of time to go back and remember.
Yes.
But yeah, have you had, I guess, we can start with like, what are you most proud of this year? It can either be like a specific moment or like accomplishment or just growth thing. But yeah, what are you most proud of in the past year, Megan?
Wow.
Kind of starting out with a deep question.
I'm like, I feel like there's so much that's happened that's like, I gotta just sit and think for a second.
I'll look at my list. So I, a few days ago, made a list of just a bunch of different things that like happened this year that I'm really proud of. And so I want to look back and see what like out of that I'm most proud of. But yeah. Let me know if you think of anything.
I'm thinking. There were a lot of cool things that happened. I'm trying to think like it's a good question because I feel like a lot of times you don't get asked like, oh, like what are you proud of that you've done or you've accomplished or that like you've been able to learn and grow. I think a lot of that has happened this year. I've seen a lot of growth in my life, just like with becoming an RA this fall, and then like this summer I did an internship, which was really good, and then just like things like that where I was able to learn lots of good life skills, but also just how to like trust God when I had no idea what I was doing. Yeah,
you've been able to step into a lot of good leadership roles this year, like now that I'm looking back on it.
Yes, and something that was not expected. Well, I knew I was going to be an RA, but like with this summer, I don't know if I've ever really shared this story on the podcast, but like I had no idea that I would be doing this internship that I had this summer, and like I went into the summer kind of just like not super excited because I was going to be living. Well, I'm not that I was not excited to live at home, but I was like, I'm not doing anything super cool. Like I know people that are like going on fun trips and like doing things, and I didn't really, I don't know, I was just kind of bummed going into the summer, and I was taking an online class, and then I got together with my friend from high school, and she was just like, she was doing this internship at her church, and they had another spot open. She's like, hey, if I gave them your name, like, would you be okay with that? And I was like, yeah, like, I don't know, what's the worst that could happen? But like literally like 2 weeks later, or however much later, like I had the job and I was working there. It was just I just say it was a crazy God thing because I would have never imagined that, and it was just such an amazing experience. Like it was like no other. And so I'm really thankful for this summer and the job I had. So yeah,
and I think that's so awesome. I would say that probably fits into like one of your things that you're proud of this year. That's awesome. I think for me, if I look back on the year, I think what I'm most proud of is it's not like really as much a tangible accomplishment as it is kind of just like letting God help me overcome my fear and anxiety in my life. I think for a few years, anxiety had been something that I really struggled with, and it had been something that was kind of keeping me back from the freedom to really explore like what God wanted me to do with my life. And this year, like this semester at the beginning, I was able to just pray about that and actually like ask God to kind of release me from the bond that fear had over my life. And I can confidently say that he has given me that. And that's been really cool to just start to step into.
That's
because
cool.
It's the first time in my life since I've like really accepted Jesus that I've been able to live like a fear-free life, or at least from fear controlling my life. And I'm really proud of that because that was a big thing for me to be able to pray, and a big thing to be able to just discover who I am without that controlling me. But yeah, so I would say that's what I'm most proud of. I've definitely been able to grow a lot because fear is not in charge of me anymore. Yeah. And I'm excited to see like what opportunities I've been able to take this year that I never would have been able to do before that. Like being an FYE mentor. That was a really scary thing for me to do. And it was hard, but I'm really proud of that because it was a big growth thing. Or like forming new friendships with some of our friends, like that's something I never thought I would be able to do. Like when I came to college last year, was like actually go out and make new friends instead of have people come to me.
Yep.
But yeah, so I think that's what I would say I'm most proud of this year.
I would agree to that too. Just like being able to step into my own circle, and like last year, I very much was like friends with a lot of people that I had already kind of previously sort of known through other people, and like through I just like known people because I'm not from like super far, and so I kind of knew some people coming in, and like my older sister was here, and so like I knew a lot of her friends, and so I kind of like was very limited to that. And like obviously just like I think even last spring and like this fall, just like very much stepping out of that which has been really good, and just like finding my own, I don't know. Just kind of like what you said, like being able to make friends. Which sounds like kind of it sounds sad. Like, oh yeah, I can make friends.
But it's a big thing because especially like for both of us, we went to really small schools where you basically know everyone. Yeah. And so I think I'm not sure if this is the same for you, but college was the first time I had to learn how to make friends really, because most of my friends from high school like were people I grew up knowing.
Yeah, or like I just instantly like had this like connection. I don't know. Yeah, but for the most part, I had just grown up with the people I was in high school with, so it was it came a lot easier, more naturally.
Yeah, but I am proud of us for that. Like, I feel like that's just a big thing to learn how to do, is to actually make friends.
And like how fun it is too.
Oh my gosh!
Because like I have always thought of myself as an introvert, and especially like in high school, it's like I don't really like talking to people. Not like, oh my goodness, now.
No, I know what you mean.
But yeah, and so just like learning about people and meeting new people, like it can be so fun. Yeah. And I think it's just something so beautiful too that like God has given us, and so it's just really cool. I love it. But yeah,
I love that. I guess this kind of feeds into the next question, but what would you say is one area that you've grown in this last year? I feel like we kind of started to talk about it a little bit.
I think just like, well, now I'm like thinking of just about, it's hard to not group like my entire college experience as like as one instead of just 2024.
I get that. And you can too.
But I think, with like all of it, I've learned a lot about just letting go of my own just like pridefulness, I guess. And I think it's just a lot to do with like, oh, like I want to, for example, when I'm like playing guitar, like helping lead worship, it's something that's like really hard, or I think I've gotten better about it too. It's just, it used to be really hard for me to just forget like that I'm not playing for all the people that show up. I'm just playing for the Lord, and it's just to worship him. And I think this semester and last semester, I've really like just been able to just let go of that and just like not worry about making mistakes or anything. And so I think that's been something really cool. And I've learned to honestly enjoy making mistakes, not in the way that's like I make mistakes on purpose. Obviously, I'm not going to do that. But like just being able to laugh at myself and be like, it's just another, like, I'm like, oh, that's just God keeping me humble. Like, it's just like something that's like, I don't get super like upset or mad at myself when I mess up in that way, and like being a perfectionist and things. And that goes with school and stuff too.
Yeah.
And yeah. So I guess just that, just being able to just be able to laugh at yourself. It makes life a lot more fun too.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's such a good skill to have, and it's something that like I've learned a lot from you, honestly, is like not taking myself so seriously that I miss out on having fun. And I think like it's so easy to like care what people think, but when you're able to laugh at yourself, I've learned you start to care a lot less of what other people think about you.
Yes.
Which is cool.
So
yeah, that's good. I think for me, where I've grown the most is probably in being able to hear God's voice. And what I mean by that is just being attuned to what I feel like the Spirit is telling me. That's something that I used to really struggle with. But I think this year, just in spending more intentional time with God, I've become a lot better at being able to know when he is speaking to me, which is really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. And so I definitely think like through that time alone with God, I've been able to see a lot more like where he's leading me when it comes to things I'm passionate about, people I need to talk to, decisions that I need to make. And that's been really cool because through that I've been able to grow a lot in discovering my calling. And I've loved that so much. That's been another thing this year that I've grown in a lot, is starting to see where God is gifting me so that I can use that like for ministry.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I'm so blessed to be able to just start to see that. And it's been cool to see that for other people too. And I think through discernment, like God's been able to help me with that. But yeah, I'm proud of just growing and being able to know where the Spirit's prompting me, whereas I used to really struggle with that. And now if I'm going through something where I really need God's voice and wisdom, I've learned that I kind of know what he's going to say. And sometimes I do get that answer from him, and sometimes I don't, but I feel enough able to hear his voice that I can go, okay, this is what he would want me to do. So that's been really cool. That's something that I think is hard for people, is knowing how to hear God's voice. But I think if you're willing to take the time just to keep praying and reading his word, I promise you it gets easier. And so that's something I would say to people who are struggling with that, is most people, at least that I know, don't get that just automatically. It takes time.
It takes a lot of time.
Yeah. But that's something I'm really proud of.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's something really, like, I've noticed a lot in, like, the past year or so, is just being able to let go and, like, give God whatever future plans, like, might happen. And it's something, like, my senior year of high school, I struggled with a bit, because just the whole transition phase going into college, like, oh my goodness, what is happening? And just, like, I was able to, like, give myself to God in that way and be like, okay, I trust you with where you're going. And then just coming to college, and it's, like, all over again, almost in a sense, where it's, like, now you have to figure out X, Y, and Z with, like, what are you going to do with your major? It's not just what major are you? What are you going to do with that? And you're just like, But I think it's just been something that I've learned a lot, is just living in the moment. And it's like, just being like, what are you going to do with that? It's like, well, I say a lot, it's like wherever God takes me, because there are things I would want to do with my major in youth ministry, but ultimately, like, whatever God's will is what's going to happen. So why am I so afraid of that, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's just something I've been able to, I still need to, I think there are times where I still need to let that go, but it's something that I've really grown in a lot, so.
Yeah. It reminds me of the phrase, let go and let God.
So true.
Which is a lot easier said than done.
Mm-hmm.
But that's really beautiful. I love that. Ultimately, God is in control and his will is going to happen either way. Yeah. So it's just, are we willing to be obedient to that?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really proud of you for that. I've seen you grow a lot in that this year.
What would you say is just one, like, big event that happened this year for you? Just, like, something that just happened and you're just like, it was really big. Like, it could be something you did, somewhere you went, I don't know.
That's a good question. Okay, off the bat, I have two big ones. The first one, like, big thing that happened this year was I had surgery on my ankle over the summer.
Wow.
That was pretty big. I had kind of had like a 2-year-long injury up to that point. And I'd been to a ton of different doctors, and I think you know part of this story, but people had just been telling me left and right, like, we don't know what's wrong, there's nothing wrong, we can't figure it out. And so I had kind of gotten to the point after we finished last semester that I just probably wasn't going to get answers for that. And so going into the summer, I was bummed, but I had kind of gotten to a point of just acceptance where I was frustrated and I was disappointed because I'd been praying a lot for healing for that. But I was kind of like, okay, if this is just how it's going to be, like, it's how it's going to be. And so I went to one more doctor, just, I guess as a last resort back home. I was like, I guess I'll just see. And they referred me to a specialist. And I remember praying before that appointment. And I was kind of just like, God, just give me an answer. And I was like, please let there be an answer. And I was like, if not, like, it's okay. And I went to that appointment, and within like 5 to 10 minutes, they figured out what was wrong.
Wow.
And so for most people, having surgery isn't really great news, but that to me was an answer to my prayer that I'd been praying for a long time. And so I think I felt a lot of peace in just knowing, like, that God had heard me. And so that was a big thing for my faith, and just understanding that prayer takes time. And gosh, it was not on my timing at all. I wish that I would have had healing a lot sooner, but and in a different way without having to get surgery. But I think just knowing that God was there throughout the whole process and heard every time I cried out to him for healing, and he was there and he gave me an answer, that was really cool. And yeah, so that was a whole mental process going through that surgery, but that was a big thing, a big answer to prayer. And then the other thing I was thinking was this year I got into my first relationship.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so I had my first boyfriend this year. That happened in October. And I think that's been a whole other process of helping me grow in my faith and just understanding what love looks like and what God's love for me looks like.
Yeah.
Which has been cool because I think it's so easy to love and care for people when you can control the amount that they're in your lives, if that makes sense. Like with your family, like, of course you love them. Like, they're related to you.
They're stuck with you.
Exactly. And so, like, there's less pressure, I guess, to, like, be perfect because you're like, whatever I do, they're gonna love me. Or, like, with friends, like, you see them a lot, but there's still, like, a different level of closeness. And so I think being in a relationship has really helped me learn what love as an action is. So, like, choosing to love that person or just choosing that person, even when it's not easy. And so that's been a big thing for me. And just, like, trusting God's timing with being in a relationship. But those were two things for this year that I did not see coming. Those are pretty big life events, but I'm happy that I feel like they've taught me a lot.
That's cool.
Yeah. What about you?
I think I'm trying to think of something I didn't say, because definitely something I would like that was unexpected was my summer internship. And that was, like, one of the things that made me, like, they kind of gave me the assurance that I wanted to do youth min, because for a while I'd been, like, on the fence back and forth. So yeah, there was that, and I'm trying to think. There were just a lot of, like, not random. I can never think of the right word for things. But I think something really cool was the choir tour trip I went on, which we went to. I was just thinking about it the other day because I kind of forgot about it. We took a bus and went through like Indiana down to Nashville, Tennessee. We went to North Carolina and Ohio. So we went to a lot of different stops, and we stopped. I think it was just a really cool trip because each stop, it was a different church and just a different group of people. And like, especially the Nashville area we went to, we didn't actually stop to perform at a church. That was like our service project area, and we worked with an organization that helped like give meals out to people that were homeless or just experiencing like a need. And it was really cool because we got to like walk on the street that they had blocked off and just like talk to strangers and just be able to share with them. And it was something I had never really done.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of scary at first, but like after the first few people, like the first few like minute conversations maybe I had, then my friend Anne and I went and talked with this one man for like probably 45 minutes to like the rest of the time that we were there. Like we chat, like it might have been an hour. We were talking with him for a long time. And it wasn't even about like, we were just talking about the most random things, just like day-to-day life. And then at the end, we were praying for him. And it was just really cool because just seeing like another side of people's lives, like even in America. And it kind of opened my eyes in a lot of ways to like how these people were living, and they were just content in a lot of ways that I could, like, I am not, and I have so much more, and I'm much more blessed. And it was, yeah, so that was really cool, just being able to do that and just experience that. And it honestly, like, I've always been the kind of person that's like, I'm never gonna be a city person, I'm never living in the city. But like after that, I was like, if the Lord has me to live somewhere in a city to do his work in a place like that, like I would do it. Wow. Like and it's something like I remember thinking that, and I was like, whoa, what? Like, what kind of I was like, what other? Because I'd actually, really that was cool. Probably like the second time. It's just funny because like these two times that I've been like, I would be okay with living in the city. And they were both kind of related to like missions work. And one was like, there was someone that spoke. I was at a thing and they spoke about this mission work they do in Chicago. And I was like, I guess like if I would never consider living in Chicago. And then I did. And it was just like, wow, like how God can change people's hearts is really cool. So yeah. Still, it's God's plan, not mine. So I'm not going to worry about the future, but it was just something that was really cool and eye-opening for me.
That's awesome. So I guess last question on this topic is, what would you say was your favorite or one of your favorite fun memories from this year?
It's good. There are lots of fun memories I have. And I think a very fun memory I have is doing the musical in the spring. That was really fun. And just being able to be a part of it. And we did the musical Annie at Bethel, and I was one of the orphans. And so I got to be with all the kids, and it was really fun because they were just a hoot. So there was that. Let me think of, I also really enjoyed going to the Badlands this summer for my family vacation. We went out there. My older sister had a friend who was getting married, and she was in the wedding, and so she was already headed out to South Dakota for that. And so then the rest of us were just like, we should just, because my family was invited to the wedding, so we decided to go and make our whole family vacation about it. And we got to do lots of hiking. And
You love hiking.
Love hiking. I just love the outdoors and just nature and God's creation. It's just, so it was a really good family vacation because that was my type of family vacation. So, yes.
That's really fun.
What about you?
Okay. The first one I thought of was going to the Josiah Quinn concert with all of my friends.
That was a good one.
That was one of my
See, now you're
favorite
reminding
memories.
me of
I
things.
feel like this semester has
Yes.
just been one of the most fun times of my life, honestly.
It truly has. No, I would agree to that.
I feel
Even
like
though mine are
not no, that's good. We have variety.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's true. Like even if it's something really minuscule, I think just doing things with our friends has been really fun and has been a big time of joy. But that specifically for me, I think was one of my favorite or most fun memories. Was so I'm a big Josiah Queen and Chris Renzema fan, like really big, and so. Not only did I get to go to the concert, which I had like 2 other opportunities to go see Josiah Queen in concert, and I missed both of them for different reasons.
That is just so sad.
And so I finally got to go, which was so good, because I had big regrets from not going to those other 2. So I got to go, and then we had like 10 of our friends go. It was crazy. We had to take like 2 cars. It was so fun. But yeah, just that was a really great experience. I think just not only was it really fun to go with our friends, but to just feel the spirit moving in that place. Like even if it was just a like fun concert, like the truth is those songs are about God, and I think seeing people take it seriously and treat it like worship was really cool. So man, that was definitely my favorite thing.
Yeah, I didn't know Chris Renzema too well, but I knew Josiah Queen, and it was fun. And I think too, like, yeah, it was one of the first big like adventure things our friend group had done. So that was really fun to just hang out and do that. So, yeah.
So I guess going on to a different topic. So something that I've done for quite a few years now, I think going back to my freshman year of high school, is I've chosen a word and a verse for myself just to focus on instead of doing like New Year's resolutions. And so this year I did that again, and Megan is doing it too. And so I was wondering if you wanted to kind of talk about either the word you chose or just words you're thinking about.
Yes, because I'm still in the process of
She's still in the process.
We talked about it. Corinne has hers already, I think.
I do.
But I'm still thinking and praying about it. But I think I had 2, and I can only remember one because I only wrote one down. And so the one I was remembering was humble. And it was just like having that mindset wherever you go, and just like whoever you're interacting with and what you're doing, just like remembering that it's not about you, which is kind of funny to say, and something that I think people are able to forget, but not even in like a bad way. It's just easy to even in like the smallest way, like be the one to like take over a conversation, or I don't know, just like I just want every like aspect of like what I'm doing to just be seen as in humility, if that makes sense. I was reading, I don't remember where, I was reading about Jesus. I was reading one of the Gospels. I think it was Mark. And I just like, as I was reading, I just saw like the trait of humility just through it all, and I was like, I think that's something that's like it's so easy to just talk about, but also easy to miss. And so it's something I want to see in myself. And so yeah, I've been thinking a lot about that as my word. I had another idea too, but it just left my mind, so
we'll see if we can rethink about it.
We'll see if we can rethink about it. But yeah, that's been what I've been praying about. But what about you?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I just love that, because I think humility is such a great trait of leaders that people often miss until you don't have it. And just the fact that humility gravitates you towards people, because it shows you that whoever it is cares more about you than they do their own way, which is a really cool thing to find, especially in our society today. So first of all, I love that that's one of your options. I think that's great. And I think it's already something you do such a good job of. But I think, like, I can't wait to see how much more you can grow on that, which is really cool. But yeah, so I think my word that I'm going to do for this year is faith.
Ooh.
Which I know that's a very basic word in the terms of religion, but there's a lot of thought behind it. I thought I'd start just kind of by reading the definition, because when I'm choosing a word for the year, I always like to start with defining what it is, because I think a lot of times, like, common words I hear, I just don't truly grasp the depth of what they mean. And so faith from Oxford Dictionary is complete trust or confidence in someone or something. So I think, well, the reason I started thinking about faith as my word at first was I was reading Live by Sadie Robertson.
Oh, yes.
Which, it's a really good book, so I recommend if you guys need a book to read. But she was talking about just, she came to this realization one day that she just really needed to pray to God for, like, to increase her faith. And she said that was a hard thing for her to come to terms with, because she always thought that faith was just the one thing she could give to God. Like, just automatically. Like, that was what she owed God for all he had done for her. And so, and feeling like she had to pray for him to increase her faith, she was like, oh, well, am I doing something wrong? And then kind of coming to the conclusion that, like, no, it's such a blessing to be able to ask God to increase our faith, because that just shows, like, you want him to lead you to bigger and greater places. And I think that got me just to start thinking about, like, well, how can I pray for God to increase my faith? Because faith has always been something I've really struggled with. Not in the sense of believing in who God is, but in, like, the definition talks about, that complete trust. That's really hard for me to let go of, because it requires a lot of vulnerability. And so I think just the more I thought about that and, like, praying for increased faith, the more I kept seeing the word pop up. And I think eventually I just got to the point where I was like, okay, I can definitely tell this is meant to be my word. But the verse I chose to go with it for this year is Hebrews 11:1. Faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. But yeah, so that's just something I really want to focus on in this next year, is how can I pray for God to increase my faith, and how can I get closer and closer to that complete trust in him? Because I think, as I've just learned, faith is the basis for just so much, for obedience to God, for hope, for serving others. And I think I just need to go back to, like, the basis of that, so that God can increase all those other things. So
that's good. I like it.
Yeah. But so I definitely encourage everyone listening to just think about that. Like, what is something you can be focusing on this year? And when we upload this podcast, like, it'll only be just nearly into 2025. So definitely take the time to pray about it and see if God's putting anything on your heart. But yeah.
Any good words or verses?
Yeah. But that's so cool. I love just to have that to focus on in the new year. I think there's nothing wrong with having goals you want to fulfill, but I think there's something really intentional about looking at your own character, especially, like, when it comes to spirituality.
I think it's something, like, people always say, you know, going to the gym in January is rough because it's always so busy, and then by the time February, March hits, it's just back to normal, because it's hard for people to keep up that habit, or just a new, like, starting a new habit or a new goal, whatever, it can be very hard. And so, yeah, I think something just like this, or just something you want to focus on and set yourself as a reminder to kind of, like, build your character around is really cool.
Yeah, it's cool to look back on too and see how much God is able to help you with that. I've learned, like, if you just have that consistent prayer of, like, God, please help me grow in this, you'll look back at the end of the year and you'll see how he's done that.
Yeah.
Like, my word for this year was seek.
Oh, that's cool.
And my verse was Jeremiah 29:13, you will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. And sure, a lot of it was me intentionally trying to do that, but even seeing just how God took that obedience and helped me with it in his own way was amazing. And so looking back at this year, I feel really proud to say that I feel like I've accomplished my word well, and I've grown a lot in that. And I think there's always work to be done. Like, you're never going to hit a certain mark of, well, now I have this trait, so I don't need to do it anymore.
Yep.
But I think it's just, like, focusing on it for that specific time helps you grow a lot. So
that's good.
Yeah. Well, that's our update on 2024.
Do you have, what is one thing you're looking forward to in 2025?
Oh, I love that question. So I guess going into the new year, I'm really excited to see how God continues to help me grow on mission for others. I think this year has been a lot of me increasing my own faith, and so I'm excited for this new year to see how I can take that and just minister to other people. That's what I'm looking forward to.
That I'm excited to see that in just life in you and others, and seeing how God uses people is so cool. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah. What about you?
I was gonna say I'm excited to for this summer because I'm going to Hawaii and Alaska.
Yes.
So that was a little just.
Well, that's for a missions trip for the Alaska trip. So
that's true. So all works out. Anyways,
I love that. That's so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess wrapping up this episode. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year's. Happy 2025.
Yeah, get used to saying it.
We're a quarter of the way through 2000. Wait.
Yeah, through
the year. Wait.
Through the decade, the 21st century.
Not the decade.
Oh, is that 100 years? Yeah. Right?
A decade is 10 years. The other day, my mom was like...
Century is 100.
The other day, my mom was like, Megan, how does it feel to almost be 2 decades old? And I was like, don't.
Oh, yeah.
She said, you're entering a new decade.
Yeah, Megan's birthday's coming up.
Yes.
That was a sad sigh.
Because I'm going to feel old.
Are you saying that's supposed to...
Yes, that is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I feel like my back hurts more and I'm losing my memory.
That's what it was.
Just kidding.
You turned 20 and you're like, oh, no.
No, I was already like that. That's so funny.
Anyways, this was really fun to just get to do more podcasting over break and hang out. So
yeah, I missed it. You want to pray us out, Megan?
Sure, I would love to. Dear Lord, I thank you so much for Corinne and just the joy she is, and that we get to do this podcast and just reflect the year and the growth we've had and just how you've worked through us and around us this year. We pray that you, as we go into 2025, we would just trust you in whatever circumstance and go to you for guidance and faith, and that just again, thank you so much. We love you, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Well, yeah, Megan, it was so good to get to spend time with you over break, and we'll see y'all on the flip side. Yeah. Back in school in like a week.
In school. See you there.
Catch you in the year.